scarification over the arm. A lot of people do scarification over black and really love it. Scarification is something I've never ever been interested in, so I'm not going to do any scars on it. Someone asked what was the healing like and if it was any more difficult than other healing. Not really. It was a big area, you know, a whole forearm, but like any tattoo that's well done, there'll be areas that just kind of flake off within a couple of days, and then you'll have scabs that last a little bit longer and you have to kind of, you know, keep it clean and stuff like that. It was really normal healing. Someone asked if my artist had to like dig into my skin to get the color to stay. No, I don't think so. I know there's times and parts of the body and times when the skin you need to push the ink in a little more than others, but you've really got to be careful when you're tattooing not to push the ink in too much, because you can overwork the skin and just kind of rip the skin up, which is not good. So putting in the black wasn't any more difficult than doing any other tattoo. It healed very easily without incident, and there were no areas where the scab was like super deep or anything. Someone said that their tattoo gets really sensitive when it touches their sleeve, and is my whole arm sensitive. I'm not sure why your tattoo would be getting sensitive when it's touched the sleeve. Maybe it's kind of new. Sometimes it takes a year or so for a tattoo to settle down, depending on the ink or your skin or the healing process. This doesn't feel anything. I don't even notice it. Once a tattoo is like really healed, it just kind of becomes a part of my skin, and none of my tattoos are sensitive like that, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's a cool question. Someone asked if the other tattoos underneath sometimes get raised up and makes them more visible. This is a really cool question, because yes, they do all the time. In fact, I don't know if you can see, they're kind of doing it now, but in a really, I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. I'm just like, oh. Yes, tattoos get raised. I don't know what it is about them. I guess it's because they're kind of like scars, you know. You are opening the skin and then it closes, so it's forming a little scar, and the idea of tattooing is to get it on that perfect level in the skin so that it doesn't scar but the ink stays. There's like this like window of perfect level, I guess, which makes tattooing difficult. But sometimes something will happen, I don't know what causes it, and like right now it's happening a lot actually. I don't know if you can see this. I'm not gonna fuck with the camera because I was having a really hard time getting it set up. But yeah, so yes, sometimes the other tattoos pop out. This would be a reason for me to go over the whole thing again in black. I will probably be a bit lazy, and the next time I get tattooed, I'll just cover the roses and the little bits where I think it's more needing. I probably won't do the whole arm. I'm not in any rush. Many times people ask me if the black arm is more hot in the sun, and I actually never go in the sun, like ever. I'm really sun phobic. I will literally jump from one side of the pavement to the other if there's shade on that side, even if it's just for like 10 seconds. My friends, people that know me, know what a freak I am about the sun. I even have a sun umbrella that's a UV umbrella made for golfers. It's like a UV umbrella specifically to block the UV rays. I'm a total vampire, and I even use that in the cities like in Paris and Los Angeles and stuff. I don't give a fuck how weird I look. So I never really go out in the sun, but I was walking the other day and the sun was on me and it felt warm on my arm, but I don't know. But probably it would be more hot, I guess. Someone asked what kind of needle was used, if it was a liner or a shader. Definitely a shader, because this is all shading. I'm not sure exactly what kind of needle was used. I do know it was like one of these with lots and lots and lots in kind of a square rectangle shape. So it was like going over big chunks of skin. This question is cool. Will I ever black other parts of my body? Yes, I really think I'm gonna black the other arm eventually. Not anytime soon, and I know people are just having opinions when they're like, don't do it, but I find it really strange when people are like telling someone what to do with their body. I've had a lot of people say regarding the laser thing, is like, you should have lasered it, you should have done this, and I'm always like, oh, that's so odd to me to tell someone what they should and shouldn't do with their art, you know. It's weird. But Yes, I'm gonna black this arm. I've fallen in love with the black, like really, really love how it looks. I love the change in energy. I love how it feels. I love looking at it. It's still one of the tattoos I look at really often and touch really often. I'm just like, wow, it's so cool. What is the reaction from other people like? Really, really strong. I'm actually surprised how strong the reaction is to the black arm from other people. They either love it and they think it's super hardcore, or they hate it and they think it's wrong and I should have lasered it off and that's not art. I remember when I got the cover of France inked, one of the very first comments from someone was this guy who was just so angry that they'd chosen me to be on the cover because I have a black arm. He was like, yeah, as if this bitch deserves to be on the cover with that like unartistic black arm. Any old artist can do that. And that's actually not true. Like, if you don't have a good artist doing black, it's gonna look like shit. And black is a style in itself. It kind of goes with like, why didn't you tattoo something over it? Well, I did. I tattooed black over it. Black is a style, and I love the look of black. Like, I've fallen hardcore in love with solid black work. It's really weird. Yeah. So the reaction is always super intense. People don't really understand it. I see people on the train sometimes kind of like a bit weirded out by it, and a couple of my friends who are black have been a bit like, that's so weird that you like are blacking a part of your body out, and I never really thought of it like that. But yeah, that must be a bit of a mind trip if you're black and your white friend is just like blacking out bits of their body. You feel like, the fuck? That's funny actually. Someone asked why not cover half of it. I did in the beginning. I had half the arm done for ages, and it just made me realize that I'm going to do the second half, and I love black work. Someone asked if there's a meaning behind the black. No meaning, just I love how it looks. I love the aesthetic. There's something about solid black work to me now that just looks really serious, and I just love the juxtaposition of this like crazy, colorful, old school, not serious at all arm with this very serious. I love it. I've said I love it so many times, but I'm really in love with black work. How old was I? I think I mentioned that. I was like 27, 28 when I started blacking it out. And what was my first reaction to it? I think I've said this a couple of times, but I basically looked at it the next day and was just like, why did I do this years ago? Someone said that they want to get black work done, but they're worried about it being even and the artist using the same ink. I think if you go to the same tattoo artist and they're working at the same studio, they're probably going to use the same ink. If that's something you're worried about, I'm sure you can say to your artist that you really want the black to look really even, and can he just let you know if he is thinking of changing inks, or if he changes inks, can he keep one for you or something? Like, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. A good artist is not going to kind of like say no to that. So, yeah. Alright guys, so that's it. That's all the questions. Thank you so much for asking them all. Some of them were ones I hadn't even thought of. That's really, really cool. And I really hope you liked the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked this, and let me know what you think of black work now that I've answered some questions. Leave me some love in the comments, guys. Mwah. Fuck. Calm. I get all sweaty when I film. Hi guys, it's Lucky How. Hi guys, it's Lucky How, your favourite sword swallower, and I am finally filming a tattoo tour video for you all. So I haven't made a tattoo tour video For a long time I've been kind of putting it off because usually you're supposed to go chronologically from first tattoo, second tattoo, However, I have so many tattoos and some of my first ones have been covered up, and I went like all over my body and now I'm quite covered, so it would be really hard to film. So I've decided to show you my first ever tattoo, and then I'm just going to go in body parts because it's going to be easier. So my first ever tattoo was on the back of my neck, and it's actually being covered up by this grenade. You can maybe see little bits of it. And I got it when I was 18, and it was a little witchy Celtic design I found in the back of a witch book because I love the witchy stuff. And I covered it up when I was about 21 or 22 with the grenade. My black arm. So I'm going to do a video just on the black arm because it's the tattoo that people ask the most about and have the biggest reaction to, which I find surprising, but it's a really hot topic with people, this tattoo, so I'll do a separate video. Yes, there are other tattoos underneath the black. I did put the black on top of things, and I will explain all what was under there and my reasons for it. I absolutely love the black. I had initially started to change the other work, but I realized pretty soon that I wanted to do it black eventually anyway, and I really preferred solid black. And as soon as I did that forearm, I was just so happy and thinking, why didn't I do this years ago? I love the change to my body. I love the change in energy. It's definitely one of my favorite tattoos. It's only had one scar. It needs another session or two. It's actually surprising that it's only had one session. It's really, really solid. My armpit tattoo, yes, it was very painful to get. There's no meaning behind it. I just wanted something pretty and like muted with my armpit. Oh, it's really blurry. Oh, shit. So my left arm is a mix of a lot of different work by a lot of different artists. Some of the artists I don't even remember their names. So I'm just going to give you kind of the best rundown I can for all the pieces. Alright, so Cherry's ex-boyfriend years ago, Rockabilly Girl, Angelique, Pin-Up, Adaption, friend did it. Martini glass, why not? It's cute. What else we got here? Diamond with bling. I just thought that would be cute. The Trailer Park Queen, I used to collect vintage cigarette tins, and I really loved her, so I got her tattooed. This dagger, this maybe has some meaning. It has blood in the little mix, and that's just because people are not to be trusted. Spiderweb, I thought that would be a really dope addition to an old school sleeve, and it's really solid work. Poison bottle kind of represents the poisons that we put into ourselves. And then I got a mum and a dad tattoo, just, you know, little tributes there. The gun is a 50 caliber Desert Eagle. It was my favourite gun when I first got into shooting guns at the range. And then there's a little panther behind there, just a gap filler. And then FTW. I've actually got a few of these tattooed on me. It's like an old school punk reference and kind of weird. Okay, so hand tattoos. On my right hand, I have this blue opium tattoo, and I deliberately made it a little obscure so it wasn't instantly recognizable because it's a little bit personal. So the opium tattoo represents a couple of things to me, and the reason it's blue is because it has to do with depression. And feeling blue, into the blue, leave me an ocean, which is a song from Acid Bath. All these things kind of have a very strong meaning for this beautiful puppy. On my left hand, I have just a girl. There's no meaning behind her. She's just a cute, dead spider girl. Love it. On my knuckles, I have Baby Doll, and I used to call girls that I was trying to Baby Doll. I thought it was cute.
You're killing spree.
On the ends of my fingers, I have a bunch of symbols. I've got sulfur, Luna, feminine, and then a broken heart. And on my left hand, I have another FTW. Again, old school punk reference. I'm laughing in the video because I have a few of these.
On my thumbs, I have an R&R, and this is like R&R, like rest and relaxation. But the actual original meaning of R&R was rest and rigor mortis, which I thought was just hella dark. On my right hand, I have another meaningful tattoo, probably the most meaningful that I have. It's Finnish text, baby doll, and I used to call girls that I was trying to hit on baby doll, and I thought it was cute. I was into rockabilly stuff. On the ends of my fingers, I have a bunch of symbols. I've got Sulfur, Luna, the Feminine, and then a broken heart. And on my left hand, I have another SCW. Again, old school punk reference. I'm laughing in the video because I have a few of these. On my thumbs, I have an R&R, and this is like R&R, like rest and relaxation. But the actual original meaning of R&R was rest and rigor mortis, which I thought was just hella dark. On my right hand, I have another meaningful tattoo, probably the most meaningful that I have. It's Finnish text, and it reads Ei ikinä enää, and it translates to never again. And my ex-husband, and who's one of my best friends, has that in English tattooed on his other hand. And this to me means that never again am I going to be alone or without family, because I have my Finnish family, which is my ex-husband and his mom and sister and everything. And never again am I going to be that girl that I was when I was young after my parents died, because it was a really hard time. And so yeah, that's my hand tattoos. I don't have my palms tattooed yet. Okay, fun setup for this next shot. Yeah, oh, hello cameraman, stay focused. Alright, chest tattoos. I have a lot of chest tattoos. And the first one I got was this zombie one, bottoms up. And this was a purely aesthetic tattoo. I wanted a zombie themed chest tattoo, and I thought it would be really funny if it said bottoms up and her bottom was in the martini glass. Like, bottoms up. No one gets it, I don't care, I love it, and I love the colours. And then I got these teeth on my collarbone, and that was just something to fill the space that would look really cool, and they do. To fill in some space on my chest, I wanted to get something feminine and pretty but kind of still strong, so I got some deer horns or ornament horns, I don't know what you'd call them. Okay, now one of my most important tattoos, I guess. I never ever thought I would get the front of my throat tattooed. Why am I fucking around there? Stuff that like me. I never thought I'd get the front of my throat tattooed. I always thought I'd leave it blank, but once I discovered I could swallow swords, it was just like, this is meant to go there. I have to say, it wasn't the most painful tattoo I've ever gotten. It was relatively easy, surprisingly, I think, because he was being really gentle, so he didn't fuck it up. The area is really difficult to tattoo. On the right side of my neck is the next tattoo I got on my neck after my throat, and it's a bug slash beetle, really in Becca's style. I've loved her style for so long, and I just wanted to get something feminine but muted, because I knew on the other side I was going to get something full colour and really vibrant, and because this is the side I get photographed on mainly, so yeah, no meaning, just pure aesthetic. On the back of my neck, whoop, here we go, I filled in the space between the grenade and the other tattoos with a super classic love and hate text. And now onto the other end of my body, my feet. This meat cleaver was the first addition to my horror leg, and the pumpkin was kind of a part of a cover-up that I did in London. Yes, these are painful. And the shittiest tattoo I own that I really have to cover up soon, but yeah, here's my jack-o'-lantern and my cute feet. Yay! My vulture on the back of my left leg. Oh, hello cameraman. Focus. The vulture on the back of my left thigh was one of my first additions to my leg. Fortunately, this guy Max, who's been mentioned a few times, no longer tattoos at all. He also did these killer bees on my knees. This is the Wu-Tang tattoo. And then I have my shit cupcake. Sometimes an apprentice needs to practice, and he draws you a normal cupcake and you get angry and tell him to draw a shit one. And then chopped off fingers, same deal, apprentice. Basically the apprentices needed to practice and I let them practice on me. The coffin on the front of my left shin is another really important and meaningful tattoo because it was the first tattoo I got with Finnish language in it, and moving to Finland and living there for so long changed my life and me in so many ways. It reads "Kyllä se siitä," and this translates to "it will be okay," because at the end of the day we're all going to the same end and you can't sweat the small stuff. Kind of like a dark way of saying appreciate life. Down here is an apprentice needed to practice, so I got a little bat filler. Filler is a small tattoo you put in an empty space to kind of fill the area. Be careful with fillers because sometimes you rush, and like this spiderweb on my knee, you then regret it, and I'm gonna cover up this spiderweb with something bigger and better. And coming in on one of the topmost 3 painful tattoos I've ever had, the dope, graphic, all-seeing eye. It was 4.5, 5 hours of hell. I thought I was going to puke, but I'm so proud of it because I sat through it, and I'd wanted a tattoo from this artist for so many years, and he was guest spotting at my husband's shop, so I just kind of sucked it up and did it. But it was hard, guys. Okay, here are some really small but really meaningful tattoos. This burning church was done at a little tattoo party with me and my friends, and we all got similar tattoos. I love the aesthetic, but also I'm really, really against religion, so that has meaning. At the same time, I decided to tattoo myself for the first time, and this is my ex-girlfriend slash best friend slash soulmate slash #1 in the world's name inside a love heart with a little pussy. And that's very important because she has my name tattooed on her. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I love you, Carla. This little circus moment on the front of my thigh is kind of unfinished. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'll figure it out one day. I said to Tommy I wanted a traditional sword swallower circus girl. The first thing he said was like, she should have armpit hair, and I was like, well, not that traditional. Okay guys, next is one of my favorite tattoos with the coolest story behind them at all, and yes, my knees really say fuck off. So the story behind this, I was hanging out at home just before summer, and I was saying to my husband, like, it's so frustrating when summer hits. As soon as there's a little bit of flesh showing, there's always some creepy guys that are trying to like creep their eyes up your skirt to look at more of you. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if you had like fuck off tattooed above your knees so they just got stopped in their tracks? And it was like, holy shit, that's a great idea. And a week later I got them tattooed. It was really spontaneous. One of my favorite tattoos. I have to say that seeing someone staring at my legs in a creepy way and seeing the recognition in their brain that they just got told to fuck off by my knees never gets old. That's my left leg, the first leg. I started tattooing a lot, and it's all a lot of old school and different things, and I love it. It's so me. Okay, my horror portrait leg. I know I've said it like 5 times. This is my favorite tattoo, but this is like my favorite body part. So it all started with the Louis from Interview with a Vampire. I've always been a huge obsession with vampires, and when I got him, it was like I got my first real tattoo. I don't know, it was a very big deal for me, and it definitely sparked a love for portraits, especially color portraits, which are not so